We are back talking thoroughbred horse racing on the playbooksports.com horse report with Jon Hardoon from the Sheets. How's it going, John?
Good morning, Greg. How are you?
I'm doing good. So, fresh off a profitable week last week. I almost went 2 for 2, but that, Hoopla cut my horse off in that first race. Did you I don't know, I probably should have asked you beforehand so you could have checked that out. I don't know if you found out what kind of sheet number that horse ran, my horse, in that race.
What was your horse's name?
Let's see. That one was the first race 4. So that would have been the 9, I believe. American Gentleman.
Oh, well, I think he ran a 12. Another 12.
So back-to-back 12. So okay, so it was one of his best, but not his best. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, but then came back and got the win in race number 10, that 7-furlong race. That was the horse officiating that came through. So that
horse at all. You get full credit for that. Good going. Safi Joseph came through for you.
Yes. All right, now it is time to talk about this week's races at Gulfstream. And we have one race number 5 that we're going to start off with. Race number 10 is a grade 2 race. We'll get to that in just a minute. But first of all, in a few minutes, let's start, of course, with race number 5 at Gulfstream Park, which should go off about 1:54 Eastern. It's a mile turf race, the grade 3 Suwannee River Stakes. It's a $100,000 purse for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. We start with the 1, Dawn's Dancer. This horse just seems to be a little bit too slow, John.
30-1 on the morning line. That's the right price. Has yet to run a single digit. It's a 4-year-old. She has a license to improve, but she would have to improve too much.
Yeah, the best this horse has done, 3 straight 14s, including the win last time out at Keeneland in late October. The number 2 is In a Hurry. This is a 5-1 shot, and In a Hurry has performed in 2 grade 3 stakes races and not performed very well, finishing 4th and 7th. As far as the sheets, though, coming off a 10, and that was the best that this horse has been able to put together so far, career-wise. So what about In a Hurry?
I like this horse. This is one of my hookup horses. The horse is certainly eligible to run a 10 or better. Last time out, she ran a 10, which was a 3-point new top. But she's got plenty of time from that race. That race is without Lasix as well. No Lasix tomorrow. So now we know that she can run without Lasix. That's important. I gave her a 10, and a 10 may be good enough. Certainly to get a piece.
Okay.
Then you get 5-1.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Shifty She. And Shifty She is another horse to keep an eye on at 3-1, one of the favorites. You take a look here, a couple of things I noticed. Well, first of all, the horse did have an issue, did not race in 2020, but came back this year. And the first 3 races, 14, 11, 10. So you like that. Bounced a little bit to a 12, then 8, 10. So you like the fact that she's kind of put together a couple of good sheet lines. And the one thing I did find interesting, though, is when the only time the horse went backwards this year was actually when the horse had 2 months off and maybe lost a little momentum. I don't know. But now the horse also has about 2 months off. So that's the only thing that I noticed. What do you think about Shifty She, the 3-1 favorite?
Well, I'm reading the line a little different than you. The 12 that she ran 3 starts back, what you're calling the bad race, was only 2 points away from what she was running.
Sure.
And she had an excuse. It was a paceless race. Not only that, this race was at Saratoga. And Safi Joseph, the trainer of this horse, who does terrific, wins at 30% most of the year, was 1 for 74 at Saratoga.
At that point.
When she ran that 12.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he was in a slump.
He was in a slump, and the horse didn't run well. I'm not even saying she didn't run well. She ran 2 points away from.
So it was a 12. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but again, It was a paceless race, so she had. It's somewhat of an excuse for the bad race. The horse is fine. The problem I have with the horse is she's 3-1. Yeah. Can she win? Of course she could win, but I don't think she's valued at 3-1. But again, with the horse that I'm king, which we'll get to later on, I'll be using this horse as well.
And the good thing is, she's actually sheet-wise having her best season.
Yeah, well,
So,
she's gotten good since. Look who took over the training. You see the trainer,
yes.
SJ2, that's Safi Joseph II. And then since he got this horse, with the exception of the minor setback at Saratoga, and I told you the problem there.
Yes.
So, she's fine.
Yeah, look, the horse was winning, but not putting the numbers together that she's putting up now. So,
Right.
okay, now the 4 is Keeper of Time. This is a horse that I am going to put into my exactas. I very lightly raced here in the States. Took 4 months off between going from Ireland to the U.S. Then came out with a 12. Had a big bounce to a 21 in that race you see there in September at Belmont. But then came right back with a big forward surge, 9 last time out. That was the 7 furlong race, finishing third. Long enough layoff. So and we're talking about a 15-1 shot, which is the reason why I'm thinking this is not a bad idea to throw into some exactas, and hopefully I'll be able to make some money off of the horse if they can, if they can get in there for me.
Well, I mean, she's okay. The 9 last time out was sprinting. Now she's going around 2 turns, so it's a little bit of a different game. The 12 and 21 that she ran 2 and 3 starts back were both a distance of ground at the same distance she's going today, a mile. So for that reason, I was against her. But listen, I never knock 15-1 shots. Go ahead. If you like her, play her.
The 5 is Lababia. And Lababia is a 20-1 shot, 50% in the money lifetime with 3 wins. You take a look at the sheets. 2 12s in the last 3 races is the best that this horse has been able to accomplish. So that's pretty good considering it's a 20-1 shot. At least this horse is heading into this race, looking pretty good as best as she has over her career.
Well, she would have to run a new top. She's yet to run a 9 or 10 like other horses in this race have done. But the good news is she's 20-1. You want to play her? You could play her. I think she's a little slow. I think you have better options at bigger prices.
Classic Lady is the 6 at 15-1, but Classic Lady, she seems to be getting older and slower.
Correct. Next horse.
Ooh, okay. Let's go with the 7, Alms. Now we can spend a little bit of time on Alms because Alms is definitely a contender there at 4-1. And this is Saez will be on board for the first time. A few things I noticed here. If you take a look at the 1 mile races, and that's what we're racing here, the sheet numbers have been the best for Alms at 1 mile races. We've seen 2 10s, an 11, and a 13. The only thing I'd be a little bit concerned with is that the last race that she ran was actually the shortest between races, 28 days. This is now going to be the shortest between races, 23 days. But again, you're talking about a horse, like I said, that seems to come up best at 1 mile races.
Well, the problem I have with this horse is good news and bad news. This horse had 3 races as a 2-year-old, 3 races as a 3-year-old, so that's not good. The good news, though, for her is that she's making her 3rd start in a short period of time. So obviously she's had physical problems throughout her career, but they apparently have fixed them because now she's making her 3rd start, like you said, in a short period of time. The problem I have with the horse is she's 4-1. She has 110 in her life. Can she run it? Of course she can run it. I just don't think there's any value in playing this horse at a short price. And she's going to be a short price because Luis Saez is averaging 4 wins a day, so everything he's getting on is being pounded at the windows.
Okay. Next up is the 8, Kelsey's Cross, a 20-1 shot. This horse has only won 5.75% of the time, so that's not good. 20 on dirt last time out, so we don't really care much about that. But the previous 3 races were 17 on grass, 17, then 12, then 11. Has a couple of 10s last year.
Listen, this horse is 20-1. Has a shot to get in somewhere on the bottom of your supers or tries. I don't think she's good enough to win. But off in numbers, she's certainly as good as the 7, who's 4-1. This horse has an 11 and 12 in her last 2 grass races. I mean, out of the 20-1 shots, other than the 2 and 3, she fits like other horses do. So.
Yeah, it's interesting. And not as fast as Away, but almost similar to the 6 races sheet line of Shifty She.
Exactly.
The three
Well,
races,
but
17, 14, 12.
she's also a year older though. So what is she, 5? Oh, they're both 5. Okay,
Okay.
you're right.
All right, next up is Summering, the 9. This is definitely one of the top horses in this card at 8-1. Jean Mario will be on board for the second straight time. Last time, the horse won with Jean Mario on board, and it was also the best race for Summering. Ran an 8 in that race, which you got to like about this horse at 5 years old. 12, 9, and 8 in the 3 races this year. The last 2 races were the 2 best races of the horse's career, a 9 and an 8, and did it at Gulfstream Park.
Yeah, and the best part to like about this horse is it's a she, first of all. The best thing to like about her is that she's 8-1.
Yes.
She's 8-1 and she's the fastest horse. It's what I call a no-brainer.
Yes.
Listen, I don't like the gaps between races, but obviously that's what she needs to run her best. He gives her time between races. She's never run a bad race, really. She doesn't run bad races. Even last year, she has 10s and 11s. You know, this is my top key at the price, and hopefully he'll be somewhat of that price. I don't know if he's really going to go with 8-1 because it looks like if you look at the PPs, he seems to get bet.
Yeah.
But he's running against much better horses today. He's stepping up into a stakes race. You know, it's a grade 3. He's never run in a grade 3 before. Well, he did. He ran in a grade 2 with the yellow ribbon. But for the most part, he doesn't run in graded. She doesn't run in graded stakes. She's my play at the price, and I think it's the right way to go.
Yeah, 7 straight races of 12 or better on the sheets. So, Summering, let's hope we can get 8-1 on the number 9 in this race at Gulfstream Park. Now, let's go to the 10, Sweet Melania. And Sweet Melania is actually going to be my top play at 6-1. You get the Pletcher Velazquez combo. Velazquez has been on board the last 2 races, which were actually the best 2 races of Sweet Melania's career. An 11 that tied an equal best, and then the best last time out, which was a 10. She's 3 for 3 lifetime at 1 mile with a win. Has a race on Gulfstream, finished 4th this March. So this will be my top play at 6-1.
She's okay, but she's like other horses in the race, and she's 6-1, and she will take money because it's Pletcher. So I would look at more like 7-2, and I like the 9 because of the price. So that's the way I'm going. The 11 horse is Princess Causeway, who ran a 22 on the dirt last time out. The previous grass races were okay, a little slower, but at 6-1, breaking from the 11 post on this turf course is no bargain.
Yeah, 10, 2 11s, and a 12 on grass this year.
And Quiet Company, I just don't like. Has that 110 2-start back sprinting at Laurel. Unlikely to run that number tomorrow.
Yeah, ran a 10 at 5.5 furlongs a couple of starts ago. First race with the new trainer, Quiet Company. Okay, so your top choice, John?
Is the 9 Summering. Exact is with the 2 In a Hurry, with the 3 Shifty She, and with the 10, Sweet Melania. 9 with the 2, 3, 10, and Exactas, and reverse them small.
All right, I'm going to go with the 10 to win, and then I'm going to throw in the 4 and the 9 in my Exactas with the 10 for race number 5 at Gulfstream. Now we're going to talk about race number 10 at Gulfstream Park. This is the Grade 2 Fort Lauderdale Stakes. Should go off about 4:30 post time on Saturday afternoon. 1 mile and an eighth on turf, $200,000 purse, 3-year-olds and up. We'll start with the 1, Doswell. And Doswell at 6-1 seems to be getting older as this horse is now 6 years old. 3-12s. I'm not sure why I would risk this horse at 6-1.
I don't like this horse at all. Last year he had 8s. This year could only get to 12s, and he's coming off a Lasix tomorrow as well. At 6-1, they could keep him.
The 2 is the favorite, El Imperator. This is a French horse that made the way here into the United States. Anyway, last 3 races, 15, 12, 8. You like that. But keep this in mind. In 3 graded stakes races over the horse's career, finished 3rd, 7th, and 7th. Not very good. What about this horse? This is one of those favorites that I just don't want to play. I'm not even going to consider it. And the horse has also never raced at Gulfstream.
I don't like this horse at all. First of all, when he ran the 9 first out in this country, or first out this year, I should say, and he won, His next start was at Saratoga without Lasix. Well, he ran the 8 last time out with Lasix. Tomorrow he's without Lasix. Off the 9, he bounced to a 15. Off the 8, he should do the same. At 5-2, he's an absolute play against, in my opinion.
Okay, the 3 is a 10-1 shot, breaking the rules. Breaking the rules. The best race, it's interesting, the best race of this horse's career, and also the best race of Doswell's career, was this race last year. They were both in the Fort Lauderdale Stakes. Doswell finished second, but we haven't seen that 8 since. Breaking the Rules ran a 7 in this race last year, finishing third, but we haven't seen anything close to 7 since, except the 10 a few starts ago.
He's another one coming off of Lasix. I think he was better last year as a 5-year-old than he is this year as a 6-year-old.
Next up is the 4, English B, another horse who seems to be slower at 5 years old this year. What about Graham Motion and Luis Saez, English B?
I agree with you. This horse is not the same horse. There's a problem with this race because for the most part, you can make a case for 6 or 7 horses to run between that 9 and 10, and the other horses aren't that far away. Therefore, whoever you decide to play in this race, you should be demanding a price. You should get some value here because the favorites and the long shots, as far as numbers are concerned, are all within striking distance of each other. So, this horse happens to be long, but rightfully so. English B is not the same horse he was.
Now, the 5, it's interesting because I was thinking about the 5 at 20-1, and I was kind of interested, and I said, all right, I'm going to stay away. But then I noticed on your selections that this was a horse that you definitely want to consider as a long shot, and I can see why. You take a look at the last 4 races, actually the last 5 races on grass, and 4 of those races have been 9, 2 10s, and an 11.
Yeah, and the 11 was at Tampa where horses don't ship in and run well, and he had trouble in that race. Listen, he has a 9 and 10, 2 in his last 2 races, both of them without both of them without Lasix. This is a player here. He's at 20-1. It's not even a thought. You must use this horse somewhere in the mix.
Okay, the 6 is Renaissance Frolic, Joseph Safi horse. But this horse, look, 10 and an 8 to start the season, but since that 8, we got a 12, a 12, and a 14, kind of reminiscent to what happened last year when the horse had an 8 on dirt, and then it took a while before the horse ever had another 8 again, which was this year.
Yeah. He runs that one big race, and then it blows him up for a while.
Okay, the 7 is Media Blitz. And this is going to be one of those long shots that I'm going to take as my top choice. Michael Maker, the first of 3 horses in this field. 8 of 12 lifetime with 3 wins. And here's the thing I find interesting is this horse has run back-to-back 9s coming into this race. The favorite, that 5-2 shot we talked about, has never run back-to-back single digits in that horse's career. And here I get a horse that is also 4 for 4 at this distance with 2 wins. So why would I not take this horse at 20-1?
Well, I agree with almost everything you said, except for a few things. This horse is shipping in from. This was going to originally be my top selection off the claim by Maker. I thought that was a big move. I like the fact that he claimed him and he's putting him in a graded stake race. So he claimed this horse with intentions of running him here. The only problem I have with this horse is all those races were run at Southern California. His 2 East Coast races at Churchill on the grass, the 12 and 14, were his slower kind of races. So I always try to tell people in here that California turf and East Coast turf, not the same. It never rains there. The turf course there is hard as a rock. That being said, I like the trainer change. I don't like the fact that he's coming off of Lasix, but I certainly like the 20-1. Therefore, I'll be using him as well. And again, he was almost my top pick. It was close, but the few things that I didn't like, again, was the California grass, shipping to the east, and and he is coming off of Lasix. His 2 bad races this year were both without Lasix.
But again, we love the fact that the main thing is 20-1. That's what we like.
That's the case. Right.
Okay, another horse that now this is one of the favorites at 4-1, but a horse that I'm going to put into my exact as the favorite. Analyze it, Chad Brown horse. Again, no races at Gulfstream, so there's that. Did race at this distance once, finished second. And this is a horse that started off with a bang as a 3-year-old. The sheet numbers were awesome. He had a 4 and a 6 in there. I'm assuming, I haven't looked at it, she probably ran in some really big races. Then something happened health-wise. Didn't race in 2019. But since the horse has come back, it really, how do you not like what you've seen? You got 7s, you got 8s. The worst you've seen in the 6 races back are 10s. And this is the 5th race of the season, which is a really good indicator that the horse is healthy.
Yeah, this horse was highly regarded. This horse ran in the Breeders' Cup Classic Turf Mile a few years ago. So this horse is supposed to be the real deal. Here's the problem. Never came back to the 4s and 5s that he ran 2 years ago. He's coming off a Lasix, but he's okay. But he's 4-1.
Sure.
Again, you're right. I'm using him with whoever I'm betting, whoever I'm keying here as well.
King Galiermo, a 30-1 shot at the number 9 horse. 2 12s on the 2 turf races for King Galiermo.
Yeah, the problem with him is that he hasn't been on the grass in 2 years. He's eligible to run a 10 because he ran a 12 as a 2-year-old on the grass, so he could be okay. But I don't know. I just don't like him. There are better options.
Order of Law is another maker trained horse in this field at 20-1. Never raced at Gulfstream. Never raced at this distance. And their last 2 races were 14s.
Without Lasix, and he's without Lasix tomorrow as well.
The 11 is a Tone, a 12, a Tone?
No, a Tone, that's right.
A 12-1 shot, and we both like this horse. You like this horse so much, it's going to be your top play. Another maker, by the way, horse in this field. Yamarillo will be on for the first time. Never raced at Gulfstream or at this distance. Those are the negatives. But when you take a look at the sheets over the last 5, you got 14, 12, 2 11s, and a 9.
How about since Maker took over the training, 12, 11, 11, 9 has never gone backwards. And you're getting 12-1. So question answered.
Excellent. And the 12 is Space Traveler. 3-1 for Space Traveler. Are we going to see a bounce for Space Traveler?
They're making him 3-1 off the 7 he ran last time. Off the 7 he ran last time out.
Last time the horse ran an all-time best, which was an 8, bounced to a 12.
Yeah, with a year layoff, a 9-month layoff.
And that was the only race of the season for the horse.
If this horse wins at 3-1, I will be losing and ripping up my ticket.
All right. What's your play there, John?
So I'm putting the 11 horse, that's a Tone, over the 5, Sol Volante, the 7, Media Blitz, and the 8, Analyze It. 11 over 5, 7, 8, reverse them small, and that'll do it for us, or for me. Anyway.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and take the 7 as my top horse with the 8 and the 11 in my exactas. Now, next week, that's Christmas Saturday, but there's no racing on Christmas except for one race in Japan, I think. So
are we off?
No, we're going to be on next week because it's still, a Thursday or a Friday show, which is the 23rd or the 24th. But we are going to be handicapping races that'll be taking place on the 26th at Santa Anita.
Yeah. That's going to be a great card. Opening day after Christmas. It's huge.
John.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good luck.